Guys, we finally have the second trailer to Spider-Man No Way Home, and if you're like me, there's things that were really amazing, then there was things that maybe were slightly disappointing. We're gonna be breaking that all down in this trailer. I'm actually gonna be trying to give you a little bit of the timeline that I see and why, after watching trailer 2, we should actually be really encouraged about the things we might not have seen, because this trailer is actually so indicative that much more is coming. We're breaking that down in this video. We always like to do a little bit of Marvel trivia, but for today, all I'm gonna do is ask you the question, who you think the sixth Sinister Six member of the villain cast is going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home. We see 5 so far. We haven't got confirmation of that 6, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now let's get started. Guys, trailer number 2 was nuts. If you want to see my immediate reaction, you can actually check that out on our Instagram. It's really awesome. But Spider-Man trailer number 2 did not disappoint. It held to the caliber, the grandiose. I mean, in 4 minutes, it already had 1 million views. Everyone is hyped about this movie, and it didn't disappoint. All the leaks about the villains were confirmed in this trailer. If you haven't seen it, hop off, watch it, come right back. We're gonna talk about 𝘍𝘪𝘭𝘮 here, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of the timeline of what I'm seeing here. So in trailer number 2, we do get to see Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, the Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, Jamie Foxx's Electro, the right color Electro, like the gold Electro. Jamie Foxx is such a perfect actor, and I'm glad that he looks more comic accurate than the blue Electro that we got in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Along with that, we had Sandman and the Lizard. Another thing that we got right, guys, is the story narrative. So it starts off with Peter Parker, who's really wrestling with his being Spider-Man and the cost that it's cost him. He said he's only had 1 week where he's felt like a normal person since being bitten by the spider. Upon doing so, he reaches Doctor Strange to make the spell breaks, thus bringing in villains from other universes. As Doctor Strange says, visitors from other universes. This has resulted in these comic book villains from other movie properties coming into this MCU film. Actually, so and so where Alfred Molina's Doc Ock is fighting who he thinks to be Peter Parker, and then when the mask is revealed, it's not the Peter Parker that he knows. He makes reference to that. Also, on top of that, we see that the tentacles are going to be combining with Iron Man's nanotech, and who knows the possibility there. So what that's going to do, apparently they can control somewhat of that, and we see that those are the type of tentacles he has throughout the film. On top of that, we get to see Green Goblin, and actually we see 2 Green Goblins. And I'm going to explain that here in a second, but we do see the Green Goblin, like, more true to the Raimi universe, Green Goblin outfit come out. And then upon that, it's just villain after villain after villain. We see Electro, we see Sandman, we see the Lizard. Now, you are all probably already aware that we didn't get confirmation of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. And initially, you guys should watch my reaction on Instagram. I was really disappointed because I thought this was going to happen, but then I spent time going frame by frame looking at the film and realizing this trailer, this is big information, guys, this trailer is about 1/3 of the movie. Before we continue this video, I just want to let you guys know that we have an awesome Instagram that updates on a regular basis with all things Marvel, DC, and everything that you love about the movies. So if you haven't already, go follow the Instagram right now. You won't regret it. Now let's get back to the video. Let me explain that again. This trailer is about 1/3 of the movie, and I'm telling you the earlier part of the movie, and let me explain. So Marvel is notorious for actually taking a very small segment of the movie and compiling it into it actually being the full-length trailer, when we actually see such little. For example, Avengers Endgame, we saw literally the first 15 minutes just spawn around in different ways for us to enjoy, and then only be inundated with a totally further whole movie. What I see in this trailer is what I believe is maybe the first hour of this film, where if you put the first trailer and this trailer together, what you have so far, and I'm going to lay it out for you guys, I'm going to break down the actual timeline of the actual Spider-Man No Way Home film. You have Peter Parker wrestling with his secret identity getting revealed. He goes to Doctor Strange to get the spell to do so, and it breaks. Upon the breaking of that spell, it's ushering in new villains into the MCU. Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, and it looks like that they successfully capture all of these villains individually, because obviously the villains are also a little bit, whoa, look, we're here. Why? I don't know. And they get captured and put into the sanctum. Okay, so that is the first part of the film. I'm betting you about 30-40 minutes into the film, all this has taken place, and they are captured in the sanctum. This is when Peter is understands, so they're doing like the Scooby-Doo chase, right? They capture all the villains and bring them in, and this is when Peter is privy to the knowledge that all of these villains, Alfred says, you're just chasing ghosts, right? And he's basically saying that all of us meet an untimely demise due to our fights with Spider-Man, and that's what Doctor Strange confirms. He's like, yes, that is what happened. And Peter Parker, Tom Holland's Peter Parker, can't let that sit with him, and he releases the villains, or he takes the box, which apparently does release villains. Potentially they're inside that box. I'm not sure. It's entirely possible that they're being captured in there. I don't know exactly what the box is, how that works, or all that's going place and taking place there. That big explosion you see at top of the Statue of Liberty, I believe is the box either breaking or something to that effect happening, or Doctor Strange trying to do the spell and it doesn't go well. So that scene at the Statue of Liberty, which is being remade to like maybe be Captain America, I don't know, there's definitely like a Captain America-esque shield. You have all the villains showing up, Electro, Sandman, Lizard. It looks like that shot of Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin maybe is there, but I'm going to talk about that here in a second. And we don't see Doc Ock in that sequence at the Statue of Liberty. That is when we see Ned and Zendaya on the Statue of Liberty, and Zendaya falls, and then we do see a bunch of rubble on the ground later at the very end of the trailer. What happened to Ned? What happened to Zendaya? I'm not sure, but I'm telling you guys that that is about a third through the movie. I think what has happened is their plan to capture the villains and put them back is thwarted by Peter Parker's guilt, and thus it further cracks the realms. I'm not sure what that implication is, but this is where I believe that they will enlist the help of other Spider-Men to stop these villains. Now, whether these villains go multiversal, what that means, how they all blend in worlds, I'm not entirely sure, but what I'm telling you guys is don't be distraught. I still believe that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in this film, it seemed like that they are swinging for the home run, that they're not going to let us know, and I really do believe what we saw in this film is most of the beginning. This film is almost 3 hours long. If you think for a second that we saw anywhere near the end of this movie, you are very mistaken. None of those scenes would end towards the end, and I would be shocked that even towards the latter half of this movie. Also, I think it's key to point out that the Green Goblin does not stay the Green Goblin. He looks like the Sam Raimi Green Goblin at the beginning, and he turns into the Willem Dafoe Green Goblin that we see that little glimpse of at the end with the goggles and the purple scarf. That is interesting. Alfred Molina's Doc Ock starts off as Doc Ock, but he becomes this nanotech Doc Ock. I believe we're going to see some villain transformations, and that there's going to be a bigger clash at the end with all three Spider-Man, particularly with Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin being the main antagonist of Spider-Man. Remember also that Venom is going to show up somewhere in this movie as well, and we do have these pictures that we had leaked that showed Charlie Cox's Daredevil, which we didn't see that four-chair scene, but we know it's in there, and we also have a picture of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, which it looks pretty legit. I'm still confident they're in this film. I still think it's happening. I still think we should be pumped, and this trailer is still amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know who you think that sixth villain of the Sinister Six is going to be in this film. And also, let me know if you think I'm right about this timeline. I really do think I've pinpointed that this is the beginning part of the movie. This is what Marvel typically does. And I think it's really important to know that moving forward as we get closer to this movie on December 17th. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, like, subscribe, turn on notifications because it really does help us here at the channel. And as always, guys, until next time, I will see you later.